When the Beatles finally fractured, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and Ringo Starr drifted aimlessly through their first years as solo artists. George Harrison, in contrast, seized the moment. He was the one Beatle who looked less like a man in mourning and more like an artist liberated, charting a course on his own terms. What gave Harrison his momentum was simple: freedom. No longer shackled by the endless negotiations over which of his songs were good enough for the band, he could finally bring forth the music that burned inside him. Spiritual themes, long simmering beneath his Beatles contributions, came to the forefront. His 1970 plea, "Hear Me, Lord," was one of the clearest examples. The Beatles' last days were anything but harmonious, poisoned by tension and petty clashes. A vivid moment came in January 1969, during the filming of what became Let It Be. That morning, Harrison had tried to introduce "Hear Me, Lord" to the group. Predictably, his bandmates shrugged it off, just as they had with much of his material in those years. The song, rejected and shelved, joined a swelling backlog of neglected compositions. That stockpile would soon detonate into All Things Must Pass, his towering triple album of 1970. On that record, producer Phil Spector wrapped "Hear Me, Lord" in his trademark wall of sound. He stacked the arrangement with layers of guitars, bass, keyboards, horns, and even multiple Harrisons. His vocals multiplied until they roared like a choir. The result was massive, overwhelming, but for all of Spector's bombast, the heart of the song is Harrison's naked intensity. While he had touched on spirituality in Beatles tracks, here he abandoned subtlety altogether. "Hear Me, Lord" is a prayer set to music, and Harrison delivers it without apology. It closes All Things Must Pass not as entertainment, but as invocation. The lyrics read like a confession. Harrison admits his failings, asking forgiveness for the times he'd let his faith slip. He broadens the scope, pleading for understanding toward those who see devotion as a burden. At points, the words feel like an indictment of the very distractions, business, ego, squabbling, that had poisoned the Beatles' final years. In the middle, he steadies himself, reminding his own weary spirit that the divine presence is constant, a guide that will not fail. The last verse cuts even deeper. Harrison longs for spiritual transcendence, yet he does not disguise his weakness. He begs for strength against worldly temptations, exposing a vulnerability that makes the prayer human, not pious. As the track stretches out, his repeated cries of "Hear Me, Lord" pile on top of one another until the song becomes mantra, incantation, surrender. Free from Lennon and McCartney's dismissive vetoes, Harrison laid bare his spiritual vision, uncompromised, intense, and utterly his own. In doing so, he delivered not just one of the most profound songs of his career, but a declaration that his voice could no longer be ignored.